of Christ, why does he allow the problems to come into our lives? The Apostle Paul, for instance, he did everything in God's name. He healed the sick, he went to prison, he was beaten for God's name. But when the messenger of the devil came and put a thorn in his flesh, he prayed 3 times for God to take that pain away from him. But then the Lord gave him an answer that he did not expect. And we find this answer in the book of 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. And this is what the Lord answered to the apostle. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Indeed, it's not the answer the apostle expected. Even I wouldn't expect this answer from God. But then what does it mean when he says that my grace is sufficient for you? God meant that his grace, through the grace that we have through Jesus Christ, is sufficient to make us go through this hardship. Sometimes as Christians, because we sing well, we preach, we baptize a lot of people, we tend to boast on those things, thinking that we did it by our own merits, but it's all through Jesus Christ. And because God knows our heart and he knows how boastful we can be, he allows the trials and tribulation to come into our lives to mold our character, so that when we are in this situation, we become more like him and we depend and cling onto him more and more. And so when the Apostle Paul realized that, he answered then, saying, Therefore, most gladly, I'll rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. These hard moments that God allows in our life, it's in those moments where we need to realize how weak we are as humans and how we need to depend more into the strength of God, because it is only when we are weak that his power is made known into our lives, that we become strong. So the Apostle Paul now is rejoicing in infirmities because he realized that it is not out of his own merits that he can go through this situation. It's through the grace of Christ, and it's through him recognizing that he's weak and frail that Christ will make him stronger. And so what about us? Are we going to continue complaining about our problems and hardships, or are we going to be like the Apostle Paul, who is rejoicing in those moments because it's the time where God reveals his power fully into our lives?